Ah, the gaming monitor. The focal point of your setup, if you really think about it. You build like a quality machine, but it's only going to perform as good as it looks on your screen. Though, some of us wish we could carry our rig around and help us perform in other areas as well, am I right? Like on Tinder. Ooh, look at that water cooling, baby. But here's the truth. If you have an RTX 3080 Ti and a monitor with a 60Hz panel, then you're limited by the monitor, not the system. It's like being ripped. Like me, but only wearing like super baggy clothes, just holding back all the potential of my dad bod. Now there are plenty of monitors out there that have some really great specs, but the one we're focusing on today is the Gigabyte M27Q-X. Does it fit in the pantheons of the greats like the bigger brother, the Aorus FV43U? Well, let's find out. Now, Gigabyte has gone through a lot in the past few years. It's got the PSU issues and RMA issues, but one thing has been consistently good, and that's their monitors. Plus, if we mention drama, then the views skyrocket, right? Right? It's on the YouTube checklist right there. Anyway, when Gigabyte released the M27Q, 170Hz, 27-inch 1440p IPS display monitor, it was the world's first monitor with a KVM switch built in. And it sold very well at a price point of $329.99. And you can usually find it on sale for like $300 or even lower at $279 after rebate. In fact, we've got a link down in the description below if you want to pick one up yourself. By the way, in case you don't know, that's actually a pretty good deal, and I figured I would mention that. Now, Gigabyte has now come out with the new M27Q-X. It's a 240Hz, 27-inch 1440p IPS display monitor with all the same goodies built in as the original M27Q. The monitor retails at $499.99. It's a hefty price point compared to the $300 M27Q. But, before we make any snap judgments, let's break down the two and do some comparisons, like how everyone compares me to Seth Rogen. Well, let's start with aesthetics. Both the Q and the Q-X are black in color with more plastic than anything else. The stand the monitor sits on is sturdy, but it's on the larger size, so if you're short on desk space already, then you may want to look at getting a monitor stand to help reduce the footprint, especially you tiny house folks. The monitor is VESA Display certified, so no worries on using most stands as long as they are also VESA certified. Now the monitor sits 650mm or 24 inches wide by 536mm or 22 inches tall by 194mm or 8 inches deep with the stand connected. Now without the stand connected, it sits at 24 inches wide by 15 inches tall by just under 2 inches deep. It weighs about 11.5 pounds with the stand and about 8 pounds without the stand. Yes, the stand is 3 pounds, so while you mounted it on any other of these monitor stands, you can use the Gigabyte stand to do some like light arm curls and get that workout in while you're sitting there at your desk watching this review. Come on, pump that iron. Feel that burn. Okay, focus, Robey. Stop looking at my massively underdeveloped guns, and let's talk about connectivity for a second. Speaking of connectivity, is this review connecting with you? Do you feel that perfect blend of entertainment and education are right up your alley when you ingest your daily or weekly tech info? Then hit that like and subscribe button along with that little notification bell. So not only will you be notified of our videos, but rumor is it that it'll change your life. Not necessarily for the better. The Q-X comes with two HDMI 2.0. We would have liked to have seen HDMI 2.1, but beggars can't be choosy. Well, I guess they can be, but then they would always be beggars. So look at that little life advice from Robeytech. New YouTube channel coming. You guys wait for it. Now regardless though, $500 and a lack of HDMI 2.1 is worth mentioning. We do have one DisplayPort 1.4, one USB Type-C, which is alternate mode, upstream port, and power delivery up to 18 watts. We've got USB 3 Type-B upstream port, two USB 3 Type-A downstream ports, which are like regular USB ports, and then one earphone jack. And speakers. It comes with speakers. Now, they're not good, but it does have two 2-watt speakers. Now, much like the M27Q, this monitor does tilt back and forth and goes up and down with a 178-degree viewing angle. Unfortunately, for you folks who may want to use this in portrait mode, then you will need to use a separate VESA mount as the stand doesn't support the rotation, though it would be massive for portrait for those awkward pictures of you from high school, I guess, or, chat. Some people use it for chat. Running down some more specs of the Q-X, we see that the color saturation is 92% DCI-P3 / 140% sRGB. So the colors do pop, but out of the box, you will have to tune a little bit to get the colors to really shine. Our test model did have some discoloration in the cyan and green gradients as we tested them overall, but the colors overall were very vibrant. Let's talk a little bit more about the panel itself. Display type is IPS display at 2560 by 1440 or QHD or 2K, which in today's standard is kind of the heart of gaming. We used the standard UFO test on the display to see if we found any ghosting on it. Now, when we run these tests, we run them with an overdrive setting available to us. In the instance, we have off, which is not extra settings, leaving it just for the user to manually adjust whatever they want. Smart overdrive, which is where the monitor automatically adjusts to what it thinks are the best settings. Picture quality overdrive for the best possible picture quality. Speed overdrive, which will give you the best settings on the monitor for competitive gameplay. And finally, balanced, which is like a mixture of both picture quality and speed. I kind of feel like Elon Musk and monitor manufacturers are working together on these naming conventions. I'm just saying. Now, from our UFO pictures, you can see it shows minimal differences in the 5 settings. However, the off setting does have some ghost trails, though minor, but they're still there. Smart overdrive is the blurriest of all the 5 settings, whereas speed swaps ghosting for inverse ghosting, as you can see from these pictures. Minor again, but again, it's still there. Now, picture quality and balanced have the best image quality of the settings and are most identical in the ghost trails on the UFO white dots. The 240Hz refresh rate on the monitor definitely minimizes the ghosting trails, so nice bonus if that's a specific feature you're looking for from this monitor. Now, when we ran a few benchmarks in games on such as Cyberpunk, you could see that ghosting taking effect on FPS UI elements during the benchmark. That's not to say you're going to notice it constantly, as we were looking for it. Now, when you're playing a game, the last thing you're looking for is ghosting trails. If you notice them all the time while playing though, then your monitor may not be the greatest, or you may have to adjust some settings to get those to go away. Unless you're playing like a scary game and you're supposed to see ghost trails, then don't adjust it. That would be bad. All right, let's get back to some of the specs on the monitor. We have a 1 millisecond gray-to-gray response time, and compared to the M27Q, which has a 0.5 millisecond gray-to-gray response time. It's a little higher here, but to be honest, you're not going to notice the difference. Panel tech to get up to 240 Hz is probably why you're seeing this increase. The brightness is the same between the two, or the nits, meaning how bright the monitor can go. The contrast ratio on the QX is 1000 to 1. In other words, the higher the contrast ratio, the deeper the blacks. So comparing the M27Q-X to, say, the Corsair Xeneon, they're equal in contrast ratio, and based on that review, you can see that the blacks could be better, similar to like the better on the Aorus FV43U. But again, some of this is going to suffer due to that high refresh rate. So, things to consider when you're purchasing a monitor and what games you're going to be using it for. Buying a monitor like this for a single-player game like Cyberpunk 2077 is a bit like spending money on a lightsaber, but then only using it to open mail instead of fighting Jedi or Sith. I mean, sure, it looks cool, but it's probably going to burn your mail and not necessarily the best use of a lightsaber. Just kind of pointing this out. Finally, let's talk about the heart and soul of this monitor, the built-in KVM switch. KVM stands for Keyboard, Video, and Mouse. It's a little wonky to hook up, but once you do hook it up, it works flawlessly. Now, once you have everything hooked up, on the back of the monitor, you'll notice 2 buttons. There's a joystick and a KVM switch. Before you can utilize the KVM switch, you have to go through the setup wizard first. You basically press the joystick on the back to bring up the menu that looks a little bit like this. Press over to the left, bring up the KVM wizard, and from there, you set your USBs, display ports, etc. And after that, you're all done. You can now use the KVM switch above the joystick on the back of the monitor to seamlessly switch between the 2 computers. I mean, there could be a whole video just on this itself. It is a super cool feature, and again, somewhat niche, but I have had to use it a number of times, and I'm really glad it's there. Now, Gigabyte does offer a program called OSD Sidekick that lets you do all of this with keyboard and mouse, but I will be completely honest with you, I don't know if I'd recommend installing it. The program is pretty buggy, and it uses a lot of resources to run. Plus, you can only use the program if you have a USB-B to USB-A cable plugged in from your monitor to your PC, which a lot of people don't do. This, though, I think is really where the monitor can shine, especially if the OSD Sidekick gets better. The purpose is to save you from using those joysticks on the back and trying to remember which button does what on the back when you basically have to change things. Come on, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a little bit like an infomercial. Does this ever happen to you? Are you usually in the middle of a gaming session and you need to change your brightness when BAM! You accidentally hit the wrong button and kill your grandparents? Then have no fear, OSD Sidekick is here. See, that's why I wish this wasn't a resource hog, because just opening up the program and switching things easily without having to touch the monitor is actually very awesome. I mean, it's one of my favorite features about the Corsair Xeneon monitor, which if you want to check out a review right here, and their integration to iCUE. It's done seamlessly and awesome, and then the other thing to do is the fact that you can actually use a Stream Deck, etc. is very cool, and the fact of the matter is you just don't have to worry about the back of the monitor stuff. It's cool. Robey, I noticed something though. You haven't talked about refresh rate. I think you've mentioned it, but what is it again? Here is where the Gigabyte M27QX and the M27Q actually differ. The M27Q has a refresh rate of 170 Hz. The M27Q-X has a refresh rate of an astounding 240 Hz. Now, do I think the extra 70 Hz refresh rate added in is enough to warrant $200 more in price? The short answer is maybe. See, when you look at similar monitors for 1440p and 244 Hz, you can see the monitor is actually priced very similarly. Just like the KS models from Intel or the TI models from Nvidia, you are paying for that extra performance. So when you consider the monitor, you just need to ensure you're buying the right tool for the right task. If you are heavily into competitive FPS games, then yes, this could be a great option. If you're looking for something more single-player focused, where the panel isn't being held back necessarily because of 240 Hz and it's not something you really need, then remember, right tool for the right job. See, 240 Hz is not for everybody. It is for a very specific game type and a very specific gamer. Now, if you have a GPU like a 3080 Ti or a 3090 or even a 3090 Ti, and you want to have high refresh rate along with the game that you're playing to actually look good, then hey, this is a monitor that would be great for you. Now, if you have a PC with a 3060 or an AMD 6600 XT, or you're really into single-player games, then this monitor may actually almost be a waste of money, and then maybe look at the M27Q, which is like more of an all-arounder and actually $200 less. 170 Hz isn't a bad thing. All right, we ran down all the specs, benchmarks, and goodies to the M27QX, but the question you may have is, was I actually impressed with the monitor? To be honest, I was impressed. The light ghosting, a 240 Hz refresh rate, 1 millisecond gray to gray, 27-inch 1440p with a KVM switch, and a potentially upgradable OSD program. I mean, what's not to like about it? Sure, it does have some flaws, but it fits nicely with other monitors in this price point, and it actually has some premium offerings. They aren't really baked all the well as much as I'd like to see from the software side, but the KVM and all of that is actually a nice perk and works very, very well. So wrapping it all up, if you're into competitive first-person shooter gameplay and maybe an esport player or esport tournaments, then yes, this monitor may actually be a winner for you. The light ghosting isn't very noticeable, and the 240 Hz refresh rate will do wonders for those long Fortnite, Valorant, or Overwatch battles you're involved in to basically bring in the mad dough. But again, at $500 for your typical gaming monitor, I'd say you're probably better off buying the original M27Q that has all the same features, including an improved gray to gray, KVM, and it has a 170 Hz refresh rate, which is nothing to shake a stick at, for $200 less. Or you can jump into 4K gaming with the FV43U from Aorus, a Gigabyte sub-brand, for $300 more, and that is a baller monitor. The best part is, if you're a fan of Gigabyte monitors, then you have solid options between the M27Q, the M27Q-X, and the Aorus FV43U. But what did you think? Tell us, you know what, and maybe you can win a little cash in the process. First and foremost, you need to leave a quality comment down below, along with liking and subscribing to the channel. When I say quality comment, it doesn't mean to be positive, it just needs to be something you liked or didn't like about the video. What surprised you, etc., about the monitor or the video, etc. Just not, I deserve to win, can you send me this monitor and chocolates or something similarly lame. You also need to ensure we have a way to reach you via your YouTube profile, like your email. In fact, put your email in your YouTube profile because it's the only way we can notify you that you've actually won. What will you win? Well, we'll be giving away $25 to one lucky comment below that is worldwide, as long as you can accept PayPal or Venmo. So what did you think about this monitor? Did you need 240 Hz? If you were going to choose one, would you get the M27Q or the M27Q-X? What did you think about the KVM feature? What about the OSD Sidekick? Would you love to see something like that as well? Would love to know all of that down in the comments below. Now, while you're down there, make sure you slap that subscribe button, whip that like button, and ring that notification bell so you get a notification each and every time we post a new video right here on Robeytech. Did you know we have a live stream channel where we do like special builds and events? Check out Robeytech Live down in the description below so you can like and subscribe to know when we actually go live and do live builds. Have questions about this monitor or any other tech-related questions? Then check out our amazing Discord server filled with other tech and PC enthusiasts that love to share their thoughts and ideas on these very subjects. Are you looking for cheap tech? then check out @RobeytechDeals.com on the interwebs or @RobeytechDeals on the Twitters, which is also on the interwebs, where we have our guy Tom scouring the internet for the best deals on all things from tech, PC components, video games to TVs. Finally, you can also follow me and my team on all the other socials @Robeytech absolutely everywhere. We hope you enjoyed this video and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.